Hello, my name is Eric and I'm doing another one of my photography vlogs called One Body, One Lens, One Roll, One Day. And I am at Whip's Ledges, the bottom of the ledges in Hinckley, Ohio. I've been here a couple times before. It is a, maybe mid-60s, very bright Monday morning. Today's camera, I'm pulling out the Pentax 17. It's a half frame camera. I've pulled this out before, some of the early episodes when I used it to remote fire and stuff like that. The film today is some expired, I've been shooting a lot of that lately, but that's okay. Expired Polaroid 35mm film. Now, Polaroid did not make 35mm film themselves. They bought it from somebody else, put their name on it, and that happened with a lot of other store brand like Kmart film or stuff like that, where they would buy it from one of the major film manufacturers and then put their name on it. Polaroid, I believe, was Konica film in disguise, and someone may want to correct me on that, but my little bit of research said typically for the 35mm was Konica stock. So hopefully should be a little Konica film, maybe a little bit more neutral to the coolish side. We'll see what happens. It is 100 speed film, so I am correcting for 2 stops. I got this in a batch of cameras that were from the late 90s, early 2000s, so at least 20 years. Now, this camera does not have the ability for me to shoot it at a 25 ISO, 150, 25. I should be shooting at 25 for a 20-year adjustment. It does have a 50 though, so I did a one adjustment on that, and it also does have exposure compensation. So combination of dropping the ISO to 50 with a +1 overexposure, that gets me my 2-stop variable. The other cool thing is back in the day, well, most of the current film stock that you find is mostly 36 exposure and a little bit of 24. This is actually a 12 exposure. Back in the day, people didn't want to shoot all full rolls of 36, especially with half-frame cameras. Not that there was many half-frames back then, but for like real estate agents, they didn't need a roll of 24 or 36. They needed 10 photos, maybe 12. So a lot of companies did have 12 exposure shots. It was a cheap way for, and not wasting any film for those people that just needed 1 roll per thing that they were attempting to cover. Well, in the half frame, this gives me 24 shots. So I'm going to take some shots around this this picnic area, and then maybe walk around the path a little bit, and we'll see what I get. All right, be right back. Okay, so the Pentax 17 does have a built-in flash, but does not allow for an accessory flash. And since I'm now up one of the hiking paths, I'm underneath the canopy of trees. So I'm doing some shots without flash to kind of get the cool shadows. But I'm doing a few shots with the flash just to help light things up a little bit. So hopefully I'll have good comparison shots of each. All right, I'm on shot 20, so I got maybe 4 or 5 more shots left, depending upon the length of the film. And go up the path a little bit more. Let's see what I can get. All right, so the Pentax 17 acts like a bunch of a lot of the old manual cameras that I've shot, and the fact that it has a manual rewind. So there's your pin. Hold your pin in. It shouldn't pop out on its own, but I tend to hold it in anyway. Do your rewind. Again, it's about as many shots you had on a full frame camera is about how many winds. Now this is a half frame, so it only took me 10 to 12 rewinds versus maybe a 24 on a, on the K1000 or something like that. Pop it open. There it is. There's my film. Alrighty. I'm gonna go turn this in, see what I get. 20-plus-year-old film, half frame. Pentax 17, again, Polaroid 35mm film, which according to my excuse me, Polaroid 35mm film, according to my research, is Konica film in disguise, and the Pentax 17 with its standard lens. All right, you'll see the photos at the end. If you like the photos, give it a thumbs up. If you learned something new, please feel free to give a thumbs up. Feel free to comment on the images if you like the images. And of course, share the video and subscribe if you want to see new videos posted, typically weekly, typically on Fridays. All right, thanks. We'll see you next episode.